Some days with wild burros feel like you lost everything you built. One day they're soft, they're thinking, they're trying. And the next day it feels like nothing is there. No curiosity, more nervousness, more backing away, more freezing. And people often think something went wrong, but sometimes nothing went wrong at all. And this is where a lot of people panic because the donkey did good yesterday. So now they start questioning everything. Did I ruin trust? Did I push too hard? Are we going backwards? But sometimes the real problem isn't the training. Sometimes the nervous system is just overwhelmed. Let's talk about how high stress days affect our donkeys. After really high wind days, like 40 or 50 miles per hour, I've noticed a very clear pattern with some of these wild burros, actually with most of them. The next day, everything can feel different. With Elton specifically, I could feel the difference almost immediately. Normally, there would be curiosity there. He would think through things, he would try. But after those really windy days, it felt like his whole body was bracing for something bad to happen. He became less curious, more nervous, more reactive, more likely to freeze, more likely to back away or leave, and slower to recover. And if a donkey already struggles with confidence or emotional regulation, environmental stress can affect them a lot. Even small things suddenly feel big to them. The important thing people need to understand is this: that doesn't always mean the training disappeared. Sometimes the donkey just temporarily loses access to thinking clearly. Because when the nervous system becomes overwhelmed, curiosity is usually one of the first things to disappear. And when curiosity disappears, everything else starts to feel harder. Now, with that being said, foundation matters a lot. The stronger the foundation, the less these days affect the animals. With animals like Seamus or my horse Stormy, they may still become more reactive in bad weather. They might get a little more crabby, a little more sensitive, but they can usually still stay connected and follow direction because there's a deeper understanding underneath the stress. But when you're still building that foundation with a newer donkey or wild donkey, high stress days can make it feel like you lost all of your progress. And what that really means is you didn't lose the training. You temporarily lost access to the donkey's ability to stay mentally organized. Now, how quickly they recover depends on a few things: the individual animal, their own confidence level, and the strength of the foundation you already built. Some recover quickly. Others can stay emotionally affected for days. One thing I've learned over time is this: trying harder is not always the answer. And sometimes trying too hard creates the exact opposite of what we want. Years ago, I had a wild donkey named Joe. We had gotten where I could halter him pretty consistently. This was a big deal for him because before he became consistent, if there's anything happening on the property or the neighbor's property, he would shut down. Like he would have to watch that. He couldn't relax enough to do what we were doing. But he had become consistent where I could halter him pretty easily now. So one day we decided to introduce Hannah Banana into the process. And of course it was windy weather. Now, instead of adjusting my expectations, I kept saying, we're just going to accomplish this, what we originally planned. You can put the halter on, just don't give up on him. But Joe was already overwhelmed, And instead of helping him find comfort and clarity in the moment, we accidentally taught him how to evade. And it doesn't take a donkey long to learn what works for them emotionally. Instead of learning, I can stay present and think this through, he learned, if I avoid hard enough, I can escape the pressure. And once a donkey discovers that avoidance works, they can become very committed to it. After that, rebuilding trust and softness took much longer. Because when an animal is overwhelmed and we just continue pushing past for results, they don't just learn the task itself. They remember how the experience felt. And I'm going to say that a second time. They remember how the experience felt. And if the experience felt confusing, unsafe, or overwhelming, that becomes part of the training too. So now, on days where I know the nervous system is already overloaded, I adjust everything. Sometimes I don't train at all. And sometimes I simply go back to something really small. Can you stay comfortable with me here? Can you think while I'm present? Can we just exist in a calm conversation together? Because if I'm working with a donkey that already has a strong foundation, maybe without perfect circumstances, I can still work with my wild donkey just with a little more softness and awareness. Remember, when we're working on building a foundation with a wild burro, the high stress days matter a lot more because they're still learning how to regulate their emotions, how to stay curious, how to think instead of react, how to trust communication. And on days where the nervous system gets overwhelmed, all of that can temporarily become much harder for them. So with a newer or a more sensitive donkey, I become much more careful about protecting understanding. Not because I'm lowering my standards, but because I don't want confusion and survival mode becoming part of the lesson on accident. What people often misunderstand about these days is this. They think success means pushing through and getting the task done, no matter what. But sometimes the donkey is clearly communicating, I'm not okay enough to think clearly right now. And if we ignore that and keep pushing anyway, even if we technically accomplish the goal, we might actually create resistance that slows future progress down much more. Because the next time we show up, the donkey doesn't just remember the task. They remember the feeling attached to it. And that's why emotional timing matters so much. Sometimes stepping back is the most productive choice. So when you're having a day that feels like everything suddenly fell apart, it doesn't always mean you ruined the training. Sometimes the environment temporarily overwhelmed the nervous system, and the real skill isn't forcing your way through those moments. It's learning when to simplify, when to adjust, and when to help the donkey come back to clarity first. Because once they do, everything you built is usually still there. It's just waiting for the nervous system to settle enough to access it again. And if you're still here watching, I just want to say thank you. It means a lot that you're taking time to learn and really think about your donkey in this way. I also want to thank our current members. Your support is a big part of what allows me to keep sharing these real training moments and honest breakdowns of what's happening in real time with these donkeys. And for anyone new here, we do have memberships available if you want to be part of that. There's different levels depending on what you're looking for. Some people just want to support the work, and that alone helps more than you know. And other levels include more in-depth training sessions where I talk through my thought process during the work, why I choose to slow down, change direction, or approach something in a different way with the donkeys as it is happening. It's really about helping you see the why behind the decisions, not just the end result. Either way, I'm really glad that you're here.